I'm really happy to start this webinar with you. First time, by the way, that I'm doing a live webinar for the thruuu users. So just say hi in the chat. It's really nice to see that you're live. Hey, Tony. Hey, Nisha. Hi, Chris. How are you? Yeah, I'm also excited, by the way. So let's wait a few seconds and bonsoir. Yeah, exactly. As you can see, I'm French, by the way. If you don't know me yet, my name is Samuel. I'm the guy behind thruuu. I'm the founder of thruuu. And I guess you understand that I'm French as well, right? I have this French accent. And yeah, here it's evening right now. And I hope you had a nice day, or maybe for you it's the morning, so you will have a nice day. Thank you, Marianne. I hope I spelled your name correctly. So yeah, the goal is to spend 45 minutes, maybe 1 hour with you. And I would like to share with you my content workflow, basically how I use thruuu to create content. And so we will speak about, I will show you how I create content brief. I will show you how I analyze the SERP. We will go a little bit in the clustering tool just to show you how I can get content IDs as well, but I think I will do a separate session focused on the keyword clustering tool. And yes, this session will be recorded. No worry, you can watch it again. Hi, Alex. And yeah, so let's start. I will have to do the demo and manage the chat. So excuse me if I'm looking on this side because I have two screens, one with the chat and one with the other screen to do the demo. So let me share my screen now. All right, you should see it. Yes, all good? Yes, no? Yes, perfect. Thank you. So, as I said, I would like to show you my content workflow. And so if you go on my on thruuu blog, you will see a lot of content. By the way, so these contents are created. I mean, I create the content brief for this content, and most of them are created by external writers. So I'm working with freelance copywriters, and they help me to create this content. So really, I would like to show you today the step-by-step approach how I create this content. So maybe you have seen this, my latest article. I sent a newsletter yesterday, or yeah, it was yesterday, I think. So about creating an effective SEO content brief. So as you can see, it's quite a long article, well organized, obviously. And so this one has been created by, I mean, one of my writers wrote this article, and I gave to her this content brief. So she got this brief, so with several sections where I explain the goal and the directive. So why the goal of this article basically is to highlight the content brief features. I also share some guidelines. Then also I share with my writer a search intent, so that she can understand why people are searching for SEO content brief. So it helps her to also structure the article in the best way to answer this intent. Then, of course, you have the title of the article. I suggest a number of words, the description, and the most important piece is the outline, where, as you can see, well, it's a series of H1, H2, and H3s, nothing really rocket science here, but also I like to include notes for my writers. I think it's important as well to give some guidance when you create a content brief. And finally, also I share some topics to cover or keywords to include in the copy. I don't really care how many times she mentioned these topics, but I want her to at least cover this topic because I think this is important information that should be included in the copy. And then also, of course, I include additional information like the questions from the PAA, selected on-page questions, related search, and a SERP analysis. And also some article to read. Usually I share the top 3 article to read and as well some resources to read. Here it was other content brief, other example of content brief. Okay, so she got this brief and she creates the article. Basically, we are going backward here, as you can see in the process. And now I will show you how I basically created such a brief with thruuu. So the topic was SEO content brief, right? So to create a brief with thruuu, there is 2 ways. You can start directly by creating the brief. You can enter the main topic. You select basically from where your audience will search, so basically which Google search you will use. And as well, you can define a template. You can start from here and you will directly have the interface to create a content brief. But I prefer to start with a SERP analyzer, so with a scrape action. And basically, we will start with my process is basically starting from the SERP analysis and then moving to the brief. So here I enter my target keyword. But in fact, I won't run the SERP analysis. It will take a few seconds, but it's always a bit strange when you're in a demo to wait the loading. So I will just basically move to the final results. But here, if you are new to thruuu, if you want to run a SERP analysis, just enter your keyword, and then you can select here the country of your choice. If you want to be more precise, you can also select a location, then the search engine, the language, the number of results to scrape. You can go up to 100 results. So basically, 10 results means the first page of Google, 20 the 2 first page, and so on. You can also select desktop or mobile, and as well, if you want, you can also have the performance of the page, so the core web vitals. And then you hit scrape, and thruuu will analyze the SERP. So let's go to the scrape history. You can also see all your history from there, and I will open one that I have done before the webinar. So here we are, SEO content brief, a SERP analysis. What you can do as well from here, you can download the report. Personally, I never use a report. It's an ugly Excel file, but some people likes to navigate Excel files, so feel free. Also, you can open the live SERP. So this has been the SERP that thruuu has scraped. And again, for people who are new, quickly explain what thruuu is doing. Basically, thruuu is opening every single page like this. So this is what I was doing 4 years ago manually. So thruuu is opening every single page and extracting all the information on the page, like the headings, number of words, etc., and compile all this data for you in easy-to-use report. And by the way, also you can see, I mean, my article is not yet ranking well. It has been published 3 days ago. So give me some time, and I'm pretty sure I can be very soon in the top 10 of Google with my latest article. All right. So now I want to create this content brief for SEO content brief, right? The first thing I do, usually I check quickly the SERP insights. So here I can get a kind of idea of the main metrics. I like to see the number of words on average, top 3 and top 10. Again, I repeat that many times when I do a demonstration. Word counts is not a ranking factor, obviously, but it's always good to see what your competitors are doing, because if they write 10,000 words, maybe there is a reason for that. So try to understand why they have long article or short article, and my advice is usually to stick to the range. Usually I try to write a bit more. It's my style. I like to write long article, but again, there is nothing right or wrong. It's up to you, up to your style. So I like to check the words, images, just to see if there is a lot of image in the content or not, if it's quite kind of visual content. The average page rank score as well, kind of indication if my website could compete on this SERP or not. And the last update just to see how fresh the SERP is. And then what I do after that, my second step will be to check the results. I don't really spend a lot of time on this view, on the card view. I directly move to the table view. And by the way, a bracket, there will be a new UI next year, close to this one, but refreshed. And the table view will be more prominent in this new UI, just to let you know. And so when I'm on the table view, here you can see all the results. So here I can see the top 10, and I can see directly, easily, I can observe their page rank. And here it's quite interesting because you see that the top one, like Moz and SEMrush, are not number one. So it means that even with a domain authority below 50, you can maybe hit the first place. So yes, I think it's kind of competitive, but not too much. Again, competitiveness depends on your website as well. Then here I check the number of words. So again, just to validate the number of words I want to write, I can quickly have an understanding of let's say, the players and how long their content is. Then the next step is to move to the topic tab. I spent really few seconds on these tabs. What I want to see here is just the main topic. So basically here, what are top topics is the most frequent keywords extracted from all the page on the first page of Google. So I extract the most frequent terms. I group them together to understand what are the main topics covered or discussed by the articles ranking on Google page number 1. So here you can quickly see what topic you might cover as well in your article. So you can see target audience, content brief, keyword research, word count. And also if you click, you can see how this word is used inside the page. So again, to give you some inspiration, what is the context around the word? Then I usually don't do that. I don't really check more than that. But if you want to deep dive in the data, you can also check what is unique in the top 3. So here you have something unique only. So these terms are only used by the top 1. These terms are only used by the number 2. And these terms are only used by the number 3. And then below, you can have the list of all the terms. You can see you can filter on 1 word, 2 words, 3 words. And again, it gives you some ideas of what kind of keywords, topics you should cover in your content later on. So remember, we are still in the analysis phase, and I try really to figure out, I'm in the ideation phase. You take a coffee and you analyze the SERP. It will take you a few minutes to get a kind of comprehensive view of how you should structure your outline and your content brief later on. Then I move on, the outline view. So here is quite cool because you can see all the different articles, and you can easily browse their structure, basically. So here you can see, the number 1, what is SEO content brief, why, how, so quite standard, what, why, how, then what to avoid, then example, feedback, and then some tools here as well. What are the benefits? So easily, quickly, you can observe the structure of your competitor. And again, ideation phase, I try to understand how my content brief will look like later on. Then there is another tab, quite interesting as well. Here it's a heading analysis. So through is analyzing all the headings and grouping them together to highlight what are the most, let's say, frequent headings. So here I only run for the top 10, but if you run for the top 100, you will have a more complete analysis. And so here it's quite cool. So you can see here what is an SEO content brief. It's displayed for 73% in the top 10. And when you click here, you can see all the page using these headings and how they use it, or I mean, what phrase they use. So again, here, it's just to get an idea of how you should organize your copy later on. But it's also quite interesting because you can also check maybe the ones that are less frequent. And you see call to action, for instance. They speak about call to action, but only 2 articles speak about call to action. So this is also what I like to do, is to try to figure out which headings is not really used a lot and try to include that in my copy to make something really complete. So I'll let you play with that. You can check the size of each, let's say, heading group. And also you can filter by position, so focusing only on the top 3. Or if you have scraped 100 results, you can also focus on the top 50, etc., etc. So I'll let you have a look later on. Here, paragraph. This is something new that's not yet released, and I won't show you this right now. But it will be the similar idea. thruuu will analyze every single paragraph in the top 10, extract key information from this paragraph, like the most frequent paragraph, also extract sources, extract statistics, and stuff like this. But it will come very soon, and you will get informed by email. Then another tab that I like a lot is a question tab. It's maybe my favorite tab because here you get, let's say, a list of all the questions. Well, the PAA. Here, you don't need thruuu for that. You can directly go on Google and extract the PAA yourself, but they're here, so let's use them as well. What is cool is that as well, again, thruuu analyze the question in headings and group them together to highlight what are the most frequent questions found in headings. So for instance, here you can see in the H1, how to write a better SEO content brief is important questions. But then, and also you can check the H2 and H3. So what is an SEO content brief, how to create an SEO content brief, and so on. So here you can see the most frequent questions. So again, for your to structure your article could be quite important to leverage this information. And also if there is a blog post with a comment section, and if somebody left a question in the comments, thruuu also extracts this question. So here there is no question on the comment section, but also it is quite interesting because when somebody leave a comment, it means that there is something not really clear in the copy, or there is something not answered properly. So use that as your advantage. Try to answer the question left by people on comments. As well, FAQ schema, if there is FAQ schema on the page, are also extracted. So from this tab, you get an overview of all the questions. And a quick tip, what I like to do, you can also just use this tab to create an article. Scrape 100 results. Here we only get 10, but scrape 100, you will get questions from 100 articles. And then what I like to do is this kind of question and answer article. For instance, I have an article on my website called What's the Pillar page. And here you see the table of content. The table of content is based only of question and answer. And how I did that, I basically scraped 100 results. I focused on the question tab. I extracted the most frequent question, and I created an article answering all the most frequent questions. So quite easy to do, straightforward. Of course, it's a top of the funnel article. This one won't maybe drive conversion, but anyway, you must be present. You must be present everywhere, and it's also good to have this kind of article. And honestly, they are super easy to create. And if you want to go further, you can even use this as a kind of pillar page, and then you can go and detail each single question separately with a specific article. So a quick tip: use it as you use it if you like. Let's move on. Okay, so yeah, then quickly I will go through the other through the other tabs. Personally, I don't use them that much. The title one, here you can see all the titles. So this is a title on the SERP. This is a meta title, and then there is 100% match. It means that the meta title is equal to the SERP title. Why? because sometimes, Google is rewriting, and so you can from this tab, you can figure out when Google rewrites some title, and so on. So here you can check also, have a quick overview of all the titles, and or also about the frequent keywords used in titles. Here, quickly, all the H1, so you can see all the H1 side by side. You can see also all the descriptions, the same ID than the title. You can also see if Google rewrites the description. And then you have other tabs with related search, videos. thruuu is only extracting YouTube video from on page, and as well images. So again, you can get a quick overview of different aspects. All right. So usually this is faster because when I do a SERP analysis, I don't speak in front of a camera. So it's a bit faster, but I like quickly to go through all the tabs and just to get an idea. It's really like it was my ideation phase, my research phase. Then the next step is creating a content brief, right? So from here, you can directly create a brief. So hit create a brief. You can select a template. I will quickly show you how to create a template later on because I think this feature is quite cool and you should leverage that. Then I will take my template, so thruuu blog templates. And now let's go to the brief creation. So again, here you can see the status. First thing I do, I put it in progress, so I don't forget that I'm working on that. And then here you have different elements. There is about 15 elements, and when you create a template, you can select which elements you would like to have in your brief. And the first one that I have in my brief is the writer directive. So by default, it takes the keyword to target. So I recommend to leave it, but you can change it if you want. And then here you have some notes. And here you can see it's already filled. Because when I create a template, you can add default text. And so each time I create a content brief for my blog, I always have the same notes because the guideline stays the same. But here I only change the objective of the article because obviously per article, I have a different objective. So here I will fill the objective. I will say to my writer, I want to highlight this feature, or I want to, I don't know, or I want to, I will give some details here. Then the audience here as well, it can be default. So here I have like my target for this article. So SEO strategists and copywriters, the region anywhere. And then also what is quite cool here, you can have a search intent. You can write it yourself because you did an analysis before. So you can basically say, from your perspective, what is the search intent behind this keyword. But also you can hit this button. So, and here thruuu will generate, it will do a search intent analysis. So behind the scenes, there is OpenAI API, but I'm sending to OpenAI some information about the SERP, and there is optimized prompt to output this. So here you can see the search intent, informational. The research is the customer journey story is research, and then some text. So here, just read what the AI has produced, correct it if it's wrong, and then here you go. We have a search intent analysis in your copy and share that with the writer. A quick note about that. So right now it's 3.5, Guillermo, but I will move to GPT-4 very soon. And just 1 second, I need to plug my laptop because otherwise I will run out of electricity very soon. So this is done now. A quick bracket here about this action. It's only available for pro and agency user. If you're a starter user, you can still have access to the Chrome extension. So you can install it from thruuu.com. If you go on thruuu.com, you go on free SEO tools. And here you have the ChatGPT Brief Assistant. It produces more or less the same output. Well, the pro and agency version is a bit better, to be honest. But here you will basically install a Chrome extension and you will need a ChatGPT account. But so basically, it's also available, this action, for the starter plan and as well for the free users. Yes, if you have Guillermo, if you have your own license, and not with API. Here it's working with the ChatGPT account, not with API. Okay, then we move on. So article summary. So here, what you can do, you can check examples. Okay, so you can quickly browse all the titles. You can, I don't know, get some inspiration, click on one, start to rephrase. This is one way to do it. Or what you can do as well, you can directly hit the title generator. And here's the same story. It will generate title based on the SERP. And then you can just select the one you want, apply, and here you go. You have a title. The same idea for the description. You can check example or get suggestion. So quickly we'll get some suggestion. For suggestion, to be honest, I always do that. I never check. I mean, the description is not really important from my point of view, and they're quite good. The one generated by thruuu. So I usually take one that I like, and here I'm done. The slug, of course, it's not really needed for my writer, the slug, but I like to have the slug here in my brief because often when I don't remember the slug when I got the copy back from the writer, so it's always good to have a brief to centralize all this information. So the slug, I keep my target keyword. Then word count here, up to you. You can put the top 3, the top 10, or put just what you like. Here there is also placeholder to define article type or tone. Again, you see also how the content brief is created. It's just really to drive you through the creation process. So there is different forms, different fields, and just fill them if you want, or leave them empty. It's fine. If you leave them empty, the public version of the brief won't display anything. And then the most important part, it's the content outline. So by default, there is one that is not generated by AI. So usually I delete it. It's a previous version of the outline generator. I will, by the way, remove that because it's a bit confusing. So what I do, so let's say, I won't show you what I do first. I will show you how you can use that first. So you can click here and you have access to all the outline from your competitor. And what you can do now, you can just start to make your own outline by clicking here and start selecting some headings. Alex, yes, is GPT-4 3.5 for the moment, but I will update very soon. So here you have all your competitors, so you can browse them and click, open, H2, H3s, etc. You can also focus on the H1, on the most frequent headings, on the most frequent question, on the PAA. So here you have all the tools to build your outline. And also you can add some notes because it's a rich text editor, so feel free to do what you like. But in fact, I don't start like this. I like to start from AI one. So you can click here on the AI generated outline. Here you have 2 options, from keyword or from the competitor. I usually check from the competitor heading, so then the AI will leverage data from the SERP. And you can even force a type, so you can define either you stick to the default one, or you have different formats: how to guide, ultimate guide, tips, listicle, and so on. So I will just keep the default one, and then thruuu is generating outline for me. How it works, basically, it's analyze the SERP, it tries to cover the main topic, but as well to come with something new. So I always try to, yes, come with a new angle in the outline, because I think it's also important in 2024, when you do your SEO, to not only copy your neighbor, but as well to come with something new, with a new angle. So, okay, then I will replace this one now. And then what I do, I don't stop here. Then I go to the competitor. And then I start, this is my approach. I start with the AI one, and then I move to the competitor. Of course, if I see that something is not good, I will remove it. And because, you know, I already have an idea of how my outline should look like, because I did this pre-SERP analysis. And, but then now I'm just finalizing the outline by checking what I missed and what new angle I want to include. Nisha, this is only, I mean, you can use the Chrome extension if you're on a starter plan. If otherwise, this AI outline generator is only available for Pro and agency plan. All right, I continue. So here you go. My outline is done. I'm happy. Of course, I spend more time than that, by the way. And again, I don't have a camera recording me when I do outline usually. But so I spend some time on the outline. It's the most important part. Usually, I would say the whole process takes me 30 minutes, maybe 1 hour when it's a complex one. But yeah, between 30 minutes and 1 hour to do a detailed brief. And then at the end, you have other information in my template. So top topics here. So usually what I do, I let them like this. I maybe just add other that are missing. So you can just click here and add some that are missing. Also the question, I leave them like this. Related search, you cannot change anything. And then here I have the SERP analysis. So SERP insights, the competitor analysis, top title and H1. This one I hide from the brief, so I should remove from my template basically. And then the food for thoughts. So here you see so also pre-filled. It chooses the top 3 article. And also here it figure out what are the most frequent used resource on the page. So external links basically. And here as well, you can just keep what you want and extend this list. So this is basically how I create a brief. Then you have 2 options, export as a doc. I never do that. I always share a public link with my writer. And then I share that with her and she can start working on the copy. And yeah, here you go. You have a nice, user-friendly content brief for your writer. And she can just start writing the content. And as well, also your writer, she click on the topic, she can also see how it's used inside the page. Okay, so this is my process to create a content brief. And now a few more things. Let's spend 10 more minutes together. I will briefly show you how I can create a template if you're interested about that. So to create a template, you can go here, here in your template. And here you can see I have a list of templates, and then you can create a new one. And here you have a list of elements. So write a directive, you click on that, it will be added to your brief template. Okay, so here you have the write a directive, and you can even enter some default text. So here you can put default text. Usually you could create a template per project. So let's say you work with several clients or you have several websites. You can create maybe a template per website, per project, and add a specific notes because each project might be different, might have different guidelines, might have different objectives, and also different audience. So of course, you can also add default audience and default region. And then you can select other elements like the article summary and maybe just outline. And that's it, you can stop here. Maybe you don't want to have a long outline, a long content brief, and here you save it, test webinar, nice word. And now if I go back on my brief, you can also change the template. It seems that it's not loading, it's coming back. And you can here change the template and select another one, test webinar. Here you go. And now when I click on that, you will see that I have only the writer directive, the article summary, and the outline. So you can create your own template. And by the way, template doesn't cost any credit. Create as much template you want. I think it's really cool. And it's quite unique, also this feature. All right. So now let's finish this webinar with a last topic, how to get new content ideas, right? I mean, I will show you, by the way, I don't use Ahref, I don't use SEMrush. In fact, I'm not using any tools to get keywords. I mainly use Google Search Console. This is my main tool to get keywords. ideas. And yeah, I only use Google Search Console. So what I like to do is to extract, and I'll show you what I've done, in fact, to get content ID around the topic of content brief. So here we are in my Search Console, and here I did a specific filter. I enter this regex that will only extract keywords including content brief or the term outline. By the way, there is an article on my blog, 5 tips to get content ID with Search Console. Feel free to read that. I'm speaking about these exact tips, how to extract specific keywords from your Search Console. But basically, I do that. I go on my Search Console. Let's say now I want to create a set of content around content brief and outline. I will run this regex. I have already an article about content outlines, so I know that I already have a set of keywords related to that. I apply, and then I have the list of keywords here. So what I will do, I will export this list of keywords in Excel format. And I will then use the keyword clustering tool to group these keywords together and to get some content ideas. So here we go. Now I can hit the cluster function. I can upload my list of keywords. So this one from Search Console. Then I have to map the keyword is equal to queries. And the volume, for the volume, I use impression. You can use click if you want, but I prefer to use impression. It's a kind of volume metric if you want. And then you upload your keywords. I won't run this process right now, but I will show you the result because it takes 1 or 2 minutes. But basically the idea is that all these keywords here, we group them together. So when 2 keywords, more or less these 2 maybe, if they display more or less the same SERP, I will group them together. And this helped me also to highlight some topics and to get, basically to create a content plan. So let's jump to the results. So this is the result of the contents of the keyword clustering. So I had 251 keywords in my list. It created 94 cluster. And so here you can see, for instance, content brief, everything related to content brief, how to write a content brief, how to create a content brief, how to create a content brief, branding content brief, all these terms. Yes, Guillermo, I will have an upcoming session where I go in the detail of the keyword clustering. Yes, it will be focused on that. No, it's just, let's say, a teaser for the next webinar, in fact. But yeah, so here you see the idea that all the keywords that are similar are put together. And I like this view because you see directly now I can select the one I want. I use this favorite icon and I just browse. Okay, this one I want to speak about that. SEO content brief, SEO brief template. I check it. SEO content brief generator. I'm already ranking, so I don't need to create anything there. Content outline. So like this, I pick some topics and this will be my future article. And then, so you select the favorite icon here, and then you can only display your favorite. And here you have like 6 or 7 articles. It's already like a content plan for the next 2-3 weeks or months or 2 months. And this is basically how I get the idea of creating an SEO content brief, by the way, because article, sorry. So now I will try to explain something. I hope I'm clear because honestly, it's a bit late for me, but I will try to be clear here. I had already an article on my blog about content brief, and I used basically the keywords generated by this article, okay? And then it highlighted another cluster about SEO content brief. And I'm like, but these terms are so close. Does it make sense to create 2 articles? In fact, this is the goal of keyword clustering. It's really show you individual group of cluster of keywords that, and for each individual group, you should aim for a single article. But I wanted to be sure that there is no bug in thruuu, because it could happen. It's a tool. Sometimes there is bugs. So I just went on the new tool, the SERP similarity tool. You can access it from here. So you can compare two keywords here. So I wanted just to run a simple test on 2 keywords. And you can enter a keyword, but also you can use one from your history. So one was SEO content brief. So I will use this one. And then the other one was content brief. Sorry, I will also select from the history. And then it was content brief. So here I wanted to really be sure that these 2 SERPs are different. And here you see it has one URL in common. So the similarity is really low. Only SEMrush is displayed 2 times. So SEO content brief, how to write an SEO content brief, what is SEO content brief guide. And here for content brief is how to create content brief. What is content brief? Basically, the SEO term is not here. So my goal is to promote my tool that creates content brief. I need to be seen for both terms. So that's why I created these 2 articles. So I have one article about content brief and one article about SEO content brief. 2 different keywords, 2 different SERPs. And here you can even go further. You can also analyze between these 2 SERPs, what are the most frequent headings. And you can see, obviously, that there is not a lot of headings in common because on this side, they're more focusing on SEO brief, and here it's more generic. Also, you can check the frequent terms, and you can see what is unique per SERPs. Okay, let's go back now to the cluster. So clearly, SEO content brief makes sense for me to write because I need to create a large set of articles about content brief. And now, if there is any competitor in this chat, you will see my future content strategy. I will write about content outline. I will write about blog outline template and so on. So you understand the idea of the keyword clustering tool, grouping keywords together to highlight what kind of article you should write about. But also what is really cool here and also quite unique, I think, compared to other tools, is that you can directly analyze a cluster here. So if you hit this button now, you will see something that is close to the SERP analysis. It looks the same. You have also some insights. You have a result. But here is slightly different. So here it's not a SERP analysis. Here it's not a SERP result. It's not one SERP. It's many SERPs. So there were 7 keywords in this cluster. Okay. What I do is that I take the 7 SERPs, I take all the results, and I put them together, and I create this new view. So this is an aggregated view, a merged view of 7 SERPs. Some cluster will have more keywords, so it doesn't matter, but yeah. So I create this aggregated view. So it shows you in average for this set of keywords who are your competitor. Okay. And then from them, thruuu is extracting the same reports. You can get the top topics, the outline, the headings, and so on. And let's just spend 1 minute on the question because this is quite cool as well. You have the question like before, the most frequent question found in headings, but also here the people also ask, there is 7 keywords, right? So 7 SERP. So 7 people also ask. And here I group I group together the question found in people also ask. So here you can see that how do you write a content brief is displayed 3 times over 7. How do you write SEO content 3 times over 7? So again, here you can see over a range of SERP, what are the most frequent questions found in people also asked. And then you have the rest. So the rest, the other reports. And then from the SERP, from the cluster analysis, you can directly jump to the content brief. So you see now we have the whole workflow. You can start to upload keywords. It will group them together. You can start to prepare your plan. Then you can analyze the cluster and you can jump to the content brief and share it with your writer. And when you will be on the brief feature, you can see here the list of all the content brief related to this specific cluster. But this is just a teaser because you see there is other tabs now, hubs, competitor, pages, audit. We don't have time to go through all of them, unfortunately, today. And but I really would like to do another webinar, maybe next year, because now it's Christmas time, focused on the keyword clustering tool, and share with you more insights. Do you have any questions? I hope I was clear enough for you. And any question? Don't be shy. Great. So I hope you enjoyed this this session. This is basically my workflow, and this is how I create brief. This is how I see also the evolution of the tool to help you in your process. So some question, good. The minimum keyword volume to make it worthwhile, you mean the minimum number of keywords, Chris, or to cluster, or the volume of the keywords? Because it's two different things. The number of keywords in your list? Because, well, I will answer both questions. I mean, to run a keyword clustering, I would recommend to go maybe for 100, 200 keywords minimum. Then you have enough set of keywords to start to group them together. And for the volume of the search here, honestly, it doesn't matter. I mean, the volume, it depends on I mean, it doesn't matter. It's important. You don't have to target all the time the high volume. It depends also I mean, volume is an interesting topic because it's based on your let's say on your domain authority. If your domain is quite authoritative, you can start to aim for high volume keywords. So here it's hard to say, but let's say if you don't have a huge domain authority, if you have a recent website, I will recommend to focus more on low volume keywords, bottom or middle of the funnel, something close to the transaction, and not trying to highlight or to target the top of the funnel keywords. I hope I'm clear. And then, yes, I will have, I will do other session on the keyword cluster. And if I would work differently for long tail, I mean, now I will work the same. I mean, I will basically follow the same approach for long tail. Then, yeah, right, Octave. I mean, yeah, again, it's a tool. It's not, let's say, it's not a science. I mean, it's a science somewhere, but it's yes, take it with a grain of salt. I use keyword cluster just to highlight some topics. As you said, sometimes our clusters are created because there is different intent, but also you will see that the SERP evolve. And at some points, if you rerun a cluster in a few months, you might have seen that two clusters were different and finally they're together. So also, yeah, take that with a grain of salt. My suggestion or my recommendation is just, use it to highlight IDs. It should destroy me without AI use. Yeah, I mean, this is an important point. I mean, being consistent, in fact, it's being to the point when you create content. I think in 2024, let's say something clear. If I create an article about how to create a content brief, do you think I should start my first heading with what is a content brief? No. I also sometimes still do it, by the way. Yeah? But my point is that let's be concise. Let's go to the point. Let's stop putting fluff in our content, because at the end, I hate that. You as well. When you go on a page and you see that the first or two sections are just definition, but you already know what it is. You will directly scroll to the third H2 and start to read. So let's put ourselves in the reader's shoes. If this information is not needed for this intent, just don't write about that, So I think this is 2024 tips. Yeah, well, I found good writers, yes, on right now on Upwork. And also what I've done, I did some tests. Obviously, I didn't take the first one. I created the same brief for a set of 15, 20 writers, and I just asked them to write the first 2 sections, and then I made a test basically like this. So yes, my writers right now are coming from Upwork. I think this is a powerful tool like this. If you're going to use AI to create content, this tool helps you write versus precise prompt. Yeah, sure. Thank you, Chris. Yes, it helps you to write great content. And about AI content as well here, I don't know yet if thruuu will go in this direction, by the way. I already have some AI. I like to give you the tools to accelerate your content brief. I don't know if one-click AI is answer, but you will let me know when I will run a survey about the next feature to build. About entities, yeah, I mean, entities is for me is close to the frequent keywords, but yeah, I need to improve. I need to improve this aspect of the tool, or the topic extraction. So yes, there will be some improvement, I guess, around entities next year. Thanks, Chris. I don't think we need another one-click article writer. I agree with you. So it's not the plan, to be honest with you. I don't want to disclose the plan for next year, but there will be great things coming, helping you with your content operation, content workflow, and as well a new UX and a new UI. Yeah, so we are working on that. You are quite busy at the moment. And yeah, also, I mean, we are closing now this webinar. It was really a pleasure to speak with you, to be honest. I mean, I spoke alone. Maybe one day we should do also a session where people can speak. You know me a bit more now. And also from some of you, I already chat with you by mail. So don't hesitate if you have any question. You know that I always try to respond to every email. I try to help you, and yes, and if you have any question or if you have any ideas or things that sucks in the tool, just let me know, and we will try to make it a better tool for all of us. Yes, please, Guillermo, shoot me an email. I'm waiting for that. But just, it's quite late, so give me a break first. I will have some dinner, and I will check my email later on. So if you have any more questions, feel free to send me an email. And thank you, all of you. And great, Stefano. I'm happy that you spread the tool in your company. And merci, bon appétit. Yes. So, yes. So, talk to you soon. Stay in touch via email. And next year there will be more webinars and more stuff like this. And if you have any ideas, and also, last point. If you also want to share something, if you have a use case where you use thruuu or for your company, for your agency, you can even do joint webinar. Just send me an email if you're interested, and we'll do something together next year. So on that, I will say goodbye, au revoir to everybody. Thank you again, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.